Jane, if you, are you Jane, are you hosting or is Michelle hosting?
I'm hosting.
So if you want, you can actually merge Joe's video with his audio. So it's all just so it's all just appears as one.
There's two different
Oh,
Joes.
two different Joes. Okay.
That was Joe
Sorry.
Ayuso.
Right.
This is the other
Oh,
Joe.
never mind then.
Yeah, Joe
But it
Vaiuso.
would.
So then actually, Jane, you may want to just change his name. You click the three dots.
I did. I
At the
put
upper
Joe,
right.
but I'm going to put Joe V now. I didn't. I'll just add more.
Thanks.
Hi, Joe B. You have your hand up? You have your hand up? What can I help you with?
No, just announcing I was here.
Good to see you.
Good.
Or not see you.
No, I know, I hear you.
Good to hear you.
Okay. Do we know if any commission members are not coming tonight? Jane.
Michelle had said, let me see, because she's not able to communicate with us.
I do see Michelle, but I don't know. Oh, I see Sharon.
Let me just go to my emails. P&Z. So,
Hey, Chuck,
Yes.
just wanted to remind you I'm recusing myself for the first public hearing.
Yes. And I think we've been asked to open and continue that. So that's probably not going to happen.
Massimo's not going to be here, Chuck.
Okay. No Massimo.
No
How about Fred?
Massimo.
How about Fred?
And that was the only no, was Massimo, that Michelle received.
Okay. So I don't see Fred and Dave Dyer.
I do not either.
Okay.
Want to give him a couple of minutes?
We'll give him a little bit. And it looks like it's going to be a very light agenda because the applicant's attorney requested on item number 1 that we just simply open and continue it to our May 1st meeting. So
Yes.
they're likely won't proceed with that. And the other ones, that's the only thing really it's on the agenda. So. I don't know if anyone wants to contact Fred. I mean, sometimes Evan would do that, but I don't even know.
I can possibly do that. Give me 1 second.
Okay. Because Fred reads the notice of public hearing too, so someone else may have to do that. Do we have the notice if Fred isn't here? John, you can do that?
I believe I have it.
Okay, great.
Fred will not be with us this evening.
Okay. That's fine. Okay, so I don't see Dave, but I think we can go ahead and get.
Do you want me to call Dave or no?
Sure.
All right, give me one moment.
Oh, wait a minute. Never mind, Jane. He sent me an email saying he can't make it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, Chuck, he's not going to make it. Neither is Massimo.
Okay. Yeah. No Massimo and
Right.
no Dave. Yeah,
Yeah.
I did see. I just checked. Looked at my
Also
email.
Fred. Yes, also Fred. That's why I sent John the public hearing notice.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Okie doke. Okay, so I think everyone's here is going to be here. So why don't we get started? Is the recording going?
Yes.
Okay. Call this meeting of the Branford Planning and Zoning Commission to order. It is
So hold
Thursday.
on. I don't see the recording
I don't either.
signal.
I don't either.
It was on because BCTV put it on.
No, but
That means it's broadcasting, not necessarily recording.
Okay,
Recording
my
in
apologies.
progress.
That's something different. Okay, we're recording.
Okay. Good evening. We'll call this meeting of the Branford Planning and Zoning Commission to order. It is Thursday, April 3rd, 2025. I have 7:06 p.m. We'll start by introducing members of the commission and staff. Commission member Joe Chadwick. Joe, are you here?
Joe Chadwick is present.
Commission member Joe Viuzzo. Joe, are you here?
Joe Vayuzo's present.
Commission member Marcy Pelusi. Marcy, are you here?
Marcy is present.
Commission member Sharon Hutner. Sharon, are you here?
Sharon Hutner is present.
And our staff this evening is our acting town planner, interim town planner, John Guskowski. John, you're here.
I am here.
And our zoning enforcement officer, Jane Ellis. Jane, you're here.
Yes, I am.
And our clerk recording secretary lurking in the background is Michelle Martin. I am Chuck Anders' chair. We'll start by asking John to read the notice of public hearing.
Okay, legal notice, Town of Branford. The Planning and Zoning Commission of the Town of Branford, Connecticut hereby gives notice of public hearing to be held on Thursday, April 3rd, 2025 at 7 p.m. by remote technology to consider the application listed below. Information regarding how to participate in the public hearing will be provided on the commission's meeting agenda that will be posted on the town's website at least 24 hours prior to the meeting. Application number 1, 25-1.7, special exception for grading, parentheses, section 6.8 on parentheses, within 100 feet of a wetland located at 35 Howard Avenue, Kim McCabe and Charles Watts, applicants and owners. At said hearings, all persons will have the right to be heard. Copies are on file in the Planning and Zoning Commission's office at Planning and Zoning Department, 1019 Main Street, Branford, Connecticut, 06405. Written communications may be sent to the above address or to planningandzoning@branford-ct.gov. Branford Planning and Zoning Commission, Charles Andrus, chairperson, and this was published in the Sound newspaper on March 20th and March 27th.
Chuck Anders here. Thank you, John. We'll follow on normal format for public hearings as the applicant goes first, makes his presentation, including any comments from consultants. After that, we typically turn it over to commission and staff, hear a summary of the staff report, get questions and comments from the commission. At that point, we open it up to the public, and I'm going to ask either John or Jane to explain the process for participating in the public hearing, or this remote public hearing, about what you press on your computer and so forth. Ask that you state your name and address for the record, make your comments. After the public portion, we allow the applicant to respond to any of the public comments. And there may be further questions, comments from commission members. We may or may not close the public hearing depending on how it goes. So that's how that works. And I don't know, Jane, are you familiar? Can you explain for the public how to participate?
if the public would like to participate, wow. On your computer, there's a microphone for two-way communication. During the public hearing, if you wish to speak, please raise your hand in the participant window. And if you do not have a microphone, you will need to call in order to speak. During the public hearings, if you do not wish to speak, you may type your comments into the chat feature. I will try my best to keep that open and take a look. Those joining through the Zoom software should be all up to date and you're all here. And if joining by mobile application, click more in the lower right corner and select raise hand.
Chuck in as chair. Thank you, Jane. Okay, then we'll follow our agenda here. And the first item is our public hearing is Kim McCabe and Charles Watts, applicant and owners for 38 Howard Avenue. This special exception for grading, section 6.8, within 100 feet of wetland. The applicant's attorney, Marjorie Shansky, has requested that we open and continue this matter to our May 1st meeting. We have a meeting, that's our first meeting in May, on May 1st. So that is what we will do. If you're here on that one tonight, I don't see many people. It looks like the applicants may be here, but their attorneys requested that we open and continue this matter. So that's what we will do. So item number one is that is open, and we're continuing that to our May 1st meeting. Our May 1st meeting, again, that's also at 7 p.m. by remote technology, just like this one, the same Zoom sign in. So that's it for number one. That's being continued. And that's it for public hearings. And then for old business, we have two items, both the Mariners Landing project, that is a special exception and a site plan modification for the Mariners Landing proposal. And we have the public hearing scheduled on that for our next meeting. And our next meeting is actually April 24th. Which is the fourth Thursday, not the third Thursday. We usually meet the first and third Thursday, but I believe there was Passover. I think it's also maybe Holy Thursday. I'm not sure. So that our next meeting actually is on April 24th, and that's when those are scheduled for, those two items of old business. That brings us to new business. In the new business, we have an application for a special exception accessory apartment that we received, and we'll schedule that for a public hearing, probably one of the May meetings, I believe, for that. So we do need a public hearing for that one. So that is that's most of our agenda right there. But we do have some minutes that were sent out. The minutes of our March 20th meeting were sent out in our packet. I don't know if people have had a chance to review those, and if they looked okay, if someone wants to make an appropriate motion with respect to the March 20th minutes. And also, by the way, I'm sort of backing up here, but on the first item that we opened and continued, and I don't know if it made it on the record, but Marcy Pelosi did state for the record that she is recusing herself from that public hearing. Again, that was 38 Howard Avenue. And I know, Marcy, you mentioned that at the beginning, but I'm not sure the tape recording was on, so we had that on the record. So then going back to the minutes of our March 20th meeting, if people have taken a look at those, and does someone want to make an appropriate motion?
Chadwick makes that motion.
Joe Chadwick makes a motion to approve the March 20th, 2025 minutes. Is there a second?
Joe Vayuso, second.
Second by Joe. Any further discussion? All those in favor, Joe Chadwick?
Joe Chadwick is in favor.
Joe Vayuso?
Joe Vayuso in favor.
Marcy?
Marcy's in favor.
Sharon, I think you're up this evening. Are you?
Yep, Sharon is in favor.
Yes, and the chair is also in favor, so those minutes are approved. For correspondence, we did receive I believe, a letter today from Edward Zielinski that that came in the office and asked Michelle to circulate that, and I believe Michelle did. You have that. That is just a letter from Mr. Zielinski. It concerns there was an application for at 10 Wakefield Avenue, a coastal site plan application, and I think there may have been a 6.8 application as well that we heard last summer, I believe, last July, that we had opened and that we had a public hearing on. So I think it was legally advertised, and we, I think notice was sent to abutters, and I think Jim Preddy prepared did the engineering, did the survey, and Evan did the staff report, and there was no public comment. We approved the application, but it turns out there was a mistake that on that application there was a coastal what's it called, coastal
Well,
right, yeah, the term is what's it, shoreline flood and erosion control structure, which is something that anything that sort of operates to control erosion from tidal or navigable waters. So anything that acts as armoring the shoreline. It could be anything, rocks or things like that. And there was that on the application. And that was, and if it had those applications, coastal site plans must be referred to the Department of Energy and Environmental Protection, and that was missed. I guess the applicant's engineer, Mr. Preddy, didn't point it out, and Evan missed it, and the application was approved. And we didn't mention it either. And there was some, there were some concerns because there was activity on the site, and some people raised some concerns to DEEP, and they found out about it. The bottom line is, and so that's in this letter, they came down, they did an investigation, sort of indicated, yes, you should have sent it to us, in which they're right, they're correct, they should have sent it to us. But the bottom line, it looks like they did a site visit, and they ultimately agreed that with certain improvements, I think there may have been a few modifications that the DEEP agreed that could be approved by staff. And I think one of their findings is that there wasn't there wasn't any environmental harm with the proposal. So I mean, the takeaway is that this should have been notified, and it was mistakenly not done so. But the applicant, will try to be on the lookout for that in the future. And anyway, the letter itself is sort of running through that. It wasn't by the immediate neighbors. The immediate neighbors were, I think, notified of the application, and no one testified at the hearing. But this is a property owner that lives, I think, a few down a ways on the area. So basically, it was a request that I think it was a request to meet, and perhaps also to be notified in the future of other things. There are no pending applications as far as I know with respect to the site. My thought was that with respect to this, we have our new town planner starting, I think, April 14th. That's Mikkel Wackers, and this is something that we can refer to him, and because it's probably rather than having John try to review this, because he's probably leaving shortly, and we can address that as needed, and you can meet with them and could review any issues, and I'd be happy to jump in on that. So it seemed to me to be a missed a notice, and it's something we should be look out for in the future. But ultimately, the DEEP approved with the construction that was going on there. So any questions from anyone about that correspondence?
Hey, Chuck.
Yes.
So just to summarize, the solutions that Jim Peretti proposed were satisfactory to Deep. We just didn't go through the correct process.
Yeah, it should have been referred to Deep at the beginning, and there's some question of whether Deep would have Deep may have given a negative comment letter, or they but that's basically correct. Jim Peretti missed something, didn't label it on the plan as a shoreline flood and erosion control structure. That's a defined thing, and if it meets that category, and then frankly, reading the definition it's not always clear in my mind, but this application and should have been referred, and our staff should have been referred, and I suppose when we reviewed the application, we should have asked the question. It should have been referred to Deep, and that's I think the letter you had the Deep letter, and they said, hey, you should have referred it to us, and they're right.
Right, but my point is the engineering was sound and
right.
What Deep would have required regardless.
Yeah, I think
of our review.
Correct. I think there may have been a few tweaks. I think it got settled. They actually did a site inspection. They went down. They saw what the other areas were like, and if you look at their final letter, it looks like and they made the finding that no unacceptable adverse impacts to the beach have occurred as a result of the slope disturbance. And, it sounds like they may have tweaked things and the engineer was out there. So yes, they are satisfied. It looks like it's essentially, it doesn't look like they did much different, but they may have tweaked a few things. That's my impression just from reading the letter.
And I didn't get a sense that they were against the project because there certainly was a hearing on it. They could have spoken against it, or there was no public hearing.
No, we had a public hearing, but we should have sent it to them. And
I get all that.
Yeah.
I get all that.
Yeah, but there was no public opposition at our public hearing.
Right.
And
that's what I'm just trying to circle back, that the public was generally satisfied when we heard it and that the engineering was sound. So
that's correct.
It's more of an administrative oversight than, anything subversive, for lack of a better word.
Yes. Yeah. I as far as I know, all the public are known. Again, the letter was not from an immediate abutter, right. Someone further down, but
well, maybe they felt if it had gone too deep, they would have known about the project, and maybe that's the underlying issue for them.
Yeah, and there's if there's some future stuff going on that requires, I mean, right now there's nothing in there. That I think the concern that I got from it says that they had proposed that they may do some tunneling or something. I don't even know, and maybe they want to know if that happens. I'm not quite sure, but anyway, because there isn't anything, and the Deep said you don't have to come back for us. There's nothing even pending before us. But anyway, we'll take a look.
Cross that bridge when it happens.
Right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Marcy. Anyone else have any questions about that? Okay, then that's for correspondence. Other business, planners report. John, you got anything to report?
Nothing significant. I would just note I may have taken my eye off the ball for a second. Mr. Chairman, when you did you set a specific date for the public hearing for the accessory apartment? I know you had mentioned we're meeting on the 4th Thursday, but I don't recall if you set a public hearing date.
No, we didn't. What we typically do, John, is we've authorized staff to consult with the chair, and we have standing authority for chair and staff to schedule it. So we don't usually schedule them at our meetings. That's
very well. I just didn't want to miss something there.
Yeah, no, that's all right. And I think, we can, it's sort of seeing what's on what agenda. I know the May 1st one looks like the Howard Avenue is happening. That could take some time on that one. So maybe the May 15th might be easier. We'll see what else is coming in too. But I think it would be one of those dates, either May 1st or May 15th, I think.
Okay. Thank you. It makes sense.
Sure.
Again, John Guskowski, I don't, again, have a great deal to report. It has been busy in the land use office, and I think it'll be very welcome when McKeel shows up. But we spent much of this week getting ready for this meeting, meeting with the folks from Mariners Landing, and sort of going through their application. Jane and I met with them on Monday. They're going to make a couple of actual tweaks to their site plan because there were some things missing. So we'll get a revised site plan in the next, I would say, week or two. And then also had a rather extended back and forth via email with Mr. Zielinski, who from Wakefield Avenue, who wrote the letter. A lot of correspondence with him. But things are largely in good shape. And again, it'll be great to have the land use staff back up to full speed soon.
Great. Thanks, John. Other than that, I did speak with Bill Anaskovich. I think we mentioned at the last meeting that remember the 1201 West Main Street? That was the Quick Lube application adjacent to Aldi's as you go around the corner. That I think not far from Rockledge. That we denied that application, and it's likely that our next meeting on April 24th that we'll have an executive session with our attorney to discuss that matter in pending litigation. So that's just something that I think may be happening at our next meeting. But we'll put that on the agenda for the next one. We'll figure out where we can fit that in. I think, yes. And then McKeel, our new town planner, is scheduled to start, I believe, April 14th. So I think that's all I have. Does anyone else have anything? Well, if no one else does, then we can. Someone want to make a motion to adjourn?
Marcy will make a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn made by Marcy. Is there a second?
Chadwick seconds.
Second, Joe Chadwick. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Joe Chadwick?
Chadwick in favor.
Joe Vayuzo?
Joe Vayuzo in favor.
Marcy?
Marcy's in favor.
Sharon?
Sharon is in favor.
And Chair is also in favor. So, good night, everyone. Not quite a record maybe, but we'll see.
Good night. Take care.
Good night, everybody. Be well.
Good night.
All right.
This program was brought to you in part through the support of the Town of Branford. Watch town meetings and other videos on demand at BranfordTV.org.